Hi, my name is Adam Shoemaker, and I'm rector here at St. Stephen's Episcopal Church in Charleston, back for another edition of Rector's Corner. And I'm very happy to have with me today our diocesan bishop-elect, Ruth Woodliff-Stanley. It's so good to have you on, and so I'm happy that you have made the time to sit with me. And Ruth, my first question for you is just, how has it felt since you have been elected? What was it like on the day of the election? And how has it been for you and your family since then?
Well, thanks, Adam, so much for having me on. I'm glad to be here. Here's how I would answer that. It's been utterly thrilling. It's been deeply moving, and it's been completely overwhelming. So those would be my summary adjectives. Um, I, there've been so many beautiful messages from people in the Diocese of South Carolina, and from people all across the country, and of course, my dearest friends and family. There have been conversations, interviews like this one. We actually are already in the midst of putting our house on the market. Because when we've thought about, the timing, so I can hit the ground running there, we've realized, wow, we don't really have a day to waste. So we've moved quickly. And then we've taken some time to try to catch our breath as a family. We're all just, little deer in the headlights and a lot joyful. So that's what life's been like. I couldn't quite have imagined what the last 7 days would be like. It's just been a fast, joyful ride.
Well, and you mentioned your family, and we've heard a lot about you, of course, in the diocese through the search process. But I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about your family.
Oh, sure. Um, I'm married to Nathan, the love of my life. We've been married for 33 years. Uh, Nathan grew up in Iowa. He's a Midwesterner. We met at Swarthmore College. And he is really a person who's passionate about social justice. His work has been in a lot of settings. He's an ordained UU minister, and he's worked both in the church and his tradition, but also in the nonprofit and public sector. He currently spends his time in two ministries. He's the interim minister with Two Rivers UU Fellowship in Carbondale, Colorado. And he's also spending a lot of his time on the Abolish Slavery National Network, where he's working to support the initiative to abolish the exception clauses to slavery in cases of incarceration that exist in our state constitutions. I'm proud to say we were the first state to get rid of that. And he's been deeply involved in that work. So that's work that's dear to his heart. He's a really analytical person, and he's a deep thinker. He's a philosophical kind of person, and he loves shells. He loves shelling. So, and there's a place we go where he can lose himself for hours in that, just looking at those and picking those up. We have a lot of fun together. So George is our oldest son. He graduated from Swarthmore 2 years ago. You're going to find a theme here. In Swarthmore, we did not tell them they had to go there, but both of our sons ended up at the same college we went to in Pennsylvania. So George graduated a couple of years ago. He did some teaching, and then he got engaged with a startup that a friend of his began and has designed a productivity app. And George is a big coder, so that's work that he's doing now. He's very interested and engaged in a lot of conversations around kind of rethinking the way we educate. So that's something he's passionate about. And during COVID, both George and John have been with us in this household. And, I'll speak about that in a moment. It's been kind of an amazing time for us. And George during that time has also done a lot. I'm going to give him credit to support the household. We were really pretty strictly quarantined for quite a while, and he taught himself some household repair skills. So he kind of kept things running and did some gardening and cooking and all of that also to support us. John is a senior at Swarthmore. So here's the theme. And so he has done his senior year in our home. And he initially, that was just simply what needed to happen for all the students, as you know. But then, we had a choice this last semester, and life on campus was so drastically changed that he really sat with it. And we said, do what you want to do. And he said, I think I'll finish it out here. So that's been a great joy for us. He was recently accepted as a Venture for America scholar. And that's a program that Andrew Yang and some others founded to match recent college graduates with startups that are interested in helping to mentor those folks. And John has a real interest in the possibility of startup down the road. And so he thought this would be a good route, and he's just thrilled to be part of it. It's an excellent program, and he's in what's called Match now. So there are, I think, 13 cities where there are jobs, and these soon-to-be grads go through these interview processes, and God willing, eventually find a match, and he'll land in one of these 13 cities. And then there's a really intensive mentoring program while they're working in these positions. So it's a two-year program. John's really been a person who, since a very early age, has had a passion for animals and how we treat and care for them. And that's still dear to his heart. And I think he's interested in being part of the work to help change our food chain and how we source our food, and help us rethink, factory farming. That's a big task, but to be part of that work. And so that's why this getting some great experience in a startup has a real kind of appealed to him. So I just quickly say that for the four of us, while this has been such a trying time in our country, there's been the silver lining of this season that we didn't think we'd get, right? Again, to be back together. And we've really enjoyed that. We really are blessed to enjoy each other's company. And so that's been a rich kind of thing for us.
That's great. Will your husband be looking for a call himself when he moves to Charleston?
So I don't know so much that it'll be a call to a church. By the way, the wonderful UU church there just called a minister, and we were excited. He's excited to meet her and to become a congregant there. But I think, he'll certainly be looking for work. And we've talked some about looking at opportunities in Charleston. He's excited about that. But also, as you know, in a post-pandemic reality, there's more access to remote work. And some of the work that he's doing with the Abolish Slavery Network, he will continue at least for a while to be engaged with that. And then, I'm really grateful that he has a little bit of flexibility to help us kind of make the transition a little bit smoother. And then I think he'll be looking pretty soon for what's his next season of life and ministry. And we kind of think about the word ministry broadly. So ministry, whether that's in a church setting, or more likely for him in a nonprofit or foundation kind of setting, aimed in the direction where his passions and experience and gifts are.
Well, there's no shortage of impactful social justice work I think you could do right here in the Low Country as well.
Yeah. He's excited to kind of get a minute to take a breath and start looking. So he's looking forward to that.
Ruth, what are you most excited about as you transition to serving as our diocesan bishop?
I cannot wait to meet people, to listen to people's stories. That's the very first thing I think is, I just am so eager to begin getting to know you all and you, me, because that's the foundation for everything, right? I mean, that's where we begin, is just becoming acquainted and beginning that really holy process of building a foundation of trust that will, I hope and pray, grow over the years. Also, I guess I'd say I really have an appetite for learning. my mind's racing right now. It's hard to get to sleep at night because I'm just thinking about all of the things I've already learned that you all are already doing. And I'm so eager to sit with folks around the diocese, to sit with the leadership bodies and to absorb, because I think I've got to just really be a sponge, really be absorbing the beginning. And um, I, I'm really chomping at the bit to do that. I love the work that I've been doing. I really adore it. And I'm finding, because I'm still in my present work, I'm finding that already I'm kind of leaning toward, okay, let's go. I'm ready to get to South Carolina. So, and yet I want to end well here. So all of that's in the mix. But yeah, I think getting to know folks, getting to hear stories and learning, those would be what I'm most excited about right now.
When will you be transitioning out of your
Yeah.
current positions?
So Caleb's been great. We've had some conversation about all of that, and also Bishop Rowe and Walt Cabe, with whom I work now, and I are in conversation. We're meeting, I think, probably later this week to talk about all of this. So it's all really, really fresh. I anticipate that in the coming weeks, I will be, landing the plane of my current work really pretty soon. And then having some amount of weeks where I'm beginning, and really the work in some ways is already beginning in the diocese. This is not here's your start date. There will be a start date where I'll be boots on the ground and fully engaged, but it's more of a gradual, ramp up that happens where you begin doing some things and more and more and more. That's what I understand from people who kind of know about these things. So I think I will, just continue to grow my responsibilities and my engagement with the diocese over the course of the next several weeks. And then we're still in conversation. We have a tentative, start date, but we are, I think, Caleb and the standing committee still need to spend a little time with that. And I do on my end as well. But I hope to be there with you all in the course, somewhere in the course of the summer, maybe toward the latter part of the summer, really there. And then between now and then, to have a couple of trips out to do some prep work just to get ready. I mean, it's just so exciting. Yeah. So for me, it's just so exciting.
Well, for us as well. I started at St. Stephen's in the summer, and so I came during that time. It is certainly a very hot time for you to begin to be acquainted with us. The humidity, one person told me once, is like the Holy Spirit just enveloping the holy city of Charleston. But we'll be excited to see you in the offices whenever you're able to get settled in.
Well, I grew up in the Mississippi summer, so I have a little familiarity with hot, wet, humid summers. So,
well, I wonder, Ruth, as you begin to transition to be with us, how we in the diocese might be supportive of you and your family.
Thank you so much for that. Well, I'll start by saying you already are. I mean, I've just had so much beautiful support from the diocese, everything from, as I said, beautiful and thoughtful, deep messages from people to the work of the leadership, really saying, we're right here, we're walking this with you. So I'm really grateful for that. I would ask that you please pray for us by name as often as you can. The four of us, we need and covet those prayers. And I would ask your patience and your go gently with me as I make mistakes. I will make mistakes. I've probably already made some I don't even know about. So, and I'm sure there'll be more to come. It's just, always we begin again, right? And also, I think I really am a big believer in failing forward, and the whole concept of being willing to take some risks and to be trusting and joyful together. I hope that's kind of the climate and culture that we'll adopt together. And so that begins with my being willing to kind of step out and knowing that that makes me vulnerable to mistakes. So just your patience and your prayers. And there'll be more things too. I don't know what I don't know yet. I mean, I'm really amazed by how much this really, I talked in, in the conversations with you all about beginner's mind and how much this is a time when adopting beginner's mind is called for. Because I don't know what I don't know. So be patient with me, and thank you for the care that I'm already receiving and that my family's receiving. It's quite powerful.
Well, and your consecration date is October the 2nd, is that right?
Yes, October 2nd. I can't wait.
Some people might wonder why it is as far away as it is, but after a bishop like Ruth has been elected, there is a process of where consents have to be given,
Yeah.
standing committees of the other dioceses of the Episcopal Church. And I don't know if there's a time frame for that, but I assume there's a bounded time frame for that. And we'll look forward to October the 2nd to celebrate as a diocese and to celebrate your consecration and to have you in person. I mean, all of the Zoom technology is wonderful, but it will be wonderful in really powerful and impactful ways when we can incarnationally be in the same space.
I
Together.
cannot wait for that time. And, we're blessed, I think, Adam, in the timing of all of this. We're fortunate, I would say. There are a lot of colleagues who have come into this office during the pandemic, and that has created its own challenges because, as you say, we're all hungry to sit together, to sit in the same room together and be physically present. And so I've really watched and recognized what a challenge that has been for new relationships to be forged. It's doable, but it's hard when it's all over the internet. So and Zoom. So I'm just thrilled. I can't wait to get there and be with you all. That's my heart's desire right now, is to get there and be with you. So know that all of the things we're doing, all the rooms we're cleaning out and the deferred maintenance and the, completing the work that I'm engaged with now, all of it's about doing that well so that I can be really free and clear and ready to come as soon as possible. I can't wait.
Well, and you mentioned the other elections that have happened during the pandemic. I mean, so there will be other companions as you transition to the House of Bishops, other newly consecrated bishops who have been elected this way, and I guess you can all share the experience with one another as you learn and grow together.
It's quite a change reality, isn't it? I mean, mercy. Yes. Yeah. I look forward to that. And they've been so welcoming. I mean, it's just extraordinary to be, it's quite a moving experience to be so beautifully welcomed into a community.
Well, and Ruth, is there a way that you would prefer that people reach out to you if they'd like to send you a message, or would you prefer space in this time from us?
Yeah. So Pat Newman was asking me that the other day. I don't prefer any space from you. And let me just tell you, here's a couple of things about that. I'm meeting with Lauren later this week just to do the very basic things like figure out getting an email account set up and all of that. So right now, folks are welcome to IM me on Facebook. Folks are welcome to reach out by email. I've had so much of that just in terms of, hey, here's who I am and we're excited for you to come to our church. And, those kind of beautiful messages are wonderful. I've been reminded by those who are coaches and mentors to those of us who are newly elected that in terms of engaging really anything substantive about the diocese, I don't yet have authority to do that, right? I'm really technically only your bishop-elect once the whole church is consented to it. So we have to take a pause and step back from any actually official business or, will you do this or anything that's about decision making it has to wait just a bit until until we are past this hallway. This, another thing I talked about with you all in the candidate conversations is liminal space. We're in some liminal space right now, so we have to all, I think, recognize that and honor what the church writ large asks of us in that regard. So I can't quite yet do anything really substantive. I'm eager to do it when I'm allowed, but right now, just, hey, how are you? Here's who I am. Yes, please. I welcome those, and be in touch with Lauren. Even this will all be changing day by day, right? So next week there'll be probably a new email address that doesn't exist yet, that kind of thing. And know that if you don't hear from me immediately, you will. I'm just moving at the pace at which I can move with everything that's happening, and it's all happening fast. And I'm also taking some time, Adam, to sit with messages. So there's some quiet time kind of surrounding my prayer time where I do pull away to just sit with them. So I'm moving a little more maybe slowly with those, so that I'm not just racing through. I mean, there's a temptation to do that, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to be doing things just to in a hot hurry.
Well, as a member of the transition committee, I can certainly say for those listening in that our work continues to help support Bishop Ruth as she transitions, or Bishop-Elect Ruth as she transitions, and so know that there will be events and opportunities for us to welcome her and her family to the diocese when the time is right.
Yes, I'm so looking forward to those.
But Ruth, thank you so much for taking the time. I'm sure it is a busy time for you right now. Appreciate you taking the time to sit down and speak with me. Thank you for those who have been listening in. I'll be back for another edition of Rector's Corner soon. In the meantime, be safe and well, friends. Take care.
Thanks, Adam. Thanks, everyone.